Nobody remembers who screamed first. That part of the story always gets confused in the retelling because there were two screams almost simultaneous and they came from opposite ends of the house. The first was human. Rachel Torres, 34, standing in the laundry room doorway with a basket of clean onesies balanced on her hip. The second was not human. It was Gunnar, a 7-year-old German shepherd, 92 pounds, who had been lying on the living room rug beside 14-month-old Mia since Rachel started the laundry 40 minutes earlier. What Rachel heard from the laundry room was the sound of Gunnar barking. Not his normal bark, the one he used for squirrels, for the mailman, for the neighbor's cat on the fence. This was different. This was a bark she had never heard in 7 years. It was deep and percussive, and it came in bursts of three, each burst separated by exactly 2 seconds of absolute silence. She dropped the basket. Onesies hit the tile. She was already running. When she reached the living room, she saw Mia sitting in the center of the rug, perfectly still, her hand raised in front of her face, fingers spread, staring at something Rachel could not see from the doorway. Gunnar was between Mia and the sliding glass door, not beside her, between her and the door. His body was perpendicular to the glass, creating a wall of fur and muscle that Mia could not have walked around, even if she wanted to. His hackles were raised from his skull to the base of his tail, a continuous ridge of bristled fur that made him look 30% larger than he was. He was not looking at Mia. He was looking through the glass. Rachel followed his gaze. The backyard was empty. The fence was intact. The gate was closed. The lawn was flat and green and unremarkable. Gunnar, heel, nothing. Gunnar, nothing. His jaw was locked. His teeth were visible, not bared aggressively but clenched, the way a dog's jaw sets when every muscle in the body is committed to a single intention. Rachel picked up Mia. The baby did not cry. She was watching Gunnar with the particular intensity that toddlers reserve for things they do not understand. Rachel backed toward the kitchen, Mia on her hip. Gunnar did not follow. He maintained his position at the glass door, body rigid, bark sequence. 3 barks, 2 seconds, 3 barks. She called Daniel, her husband. He was 18 minutes away at the hardware store. She told him to come home now. She used a voice she had never used with him before. Then she called animal control, not because she thought Gunnar was dangerous, because she thought something outside was. The animal control officer arrived in 11 minutes. His name was Rick Aguilar, and he had been working the county for 14 years. He walked the perimeter of the yard with a flashlight and a catchpole he did not expect to use. He found the copperhead behind the air conditioning unit, coiled in the gap between the concrete pad and the foundation wall, 17 inches from the sliding glass door track. Juvenile northern copperhead, approximately 22 inches. The snake had likely been drawn to the warmth radiating from the AC compressor during what had been an unusually cool April night. Rick estimated it had been there since sometime before dawn. The sliding glass door had been opened that morning. Rachel had opened it at 8:30 to let Gunnar out for his morning bathroom trip. He had gone out, done his business in the far corner of the yard, as he always did, and come back inside. But he had not walked his usual path back to the door. Rachel remembered this now, standing in the kitchen with Rick's report in her hand. Gunnar had returned to the house by walking along the fence line, the long way, instead of cutting across the lawn to the patio. He had detected the snake on his way out. He had avoided it on his way back in. And for the next 40 minutes, while Rachel did laundry and Mia played on the rug 6 feet from the door. He had positioned himself as a physical barrier between the baby and the only entrance the snake could use. If you stay for stories where loyalty defies explanation, you belong here. Subscribe now. Daniel arrived home to find Rick removing the copperhead with a snake hook. Rachel was sitting on the kitchen floor with Mia in her lap. Gunnar was still at the glass door. He had not moved. The specific thing that broke Rachel, the detail she could not stop thinking about, was the 2-second pause between the bark sets. She asked Rick about it. He said, working dogs trained for wildlife detection often use patterned vocalizations to indicate a stationary threat. 3 barks meant the threat was present. The pause between sets meant the threat had not moved. Gunnar had no training. He was a family pet adopted from a rescue at 8 weeks old. He had never been within 50 feet of a snake. His behavioral repertoire consisted of sitting, shaking, lying down, and stealing socks from the laundry basket. But when a venomous snake positioned itself between a glass door and a 14-month-old baby, he invented a warning system from nothing. Rachel's mother, who had been suggesting for months that Gunnar was too big, too rough, too unpredictable for a house with a toddler, called that evening. Rachel told her what happened. There was a long silence on the line. "I was wrong," her mother said. 2 words. They were enough. Dr. Jennifer Hartley, a veterinary behaviorist at State University, later reviewed the home camera footage Rachel had pulled from their security system. The footage showed Gunnar detecting the snake's scent at 8:31 a.m., his head snapping toward the AC unit, nostrils cycling rapidly, and then deliberately choosing the long route back inside. Every guardian deserves recognition, even the ones who walk on 4 legs. Hit subscribe. For the remaining 40 minutes, the footage showed Gunnar lying beside Mia with one eye open, his body angled precisely to block the path from the door to the rug. Every time Mia shifted position, Gunnar adjusted. When Mia crawled toward the door at 8:57, Gunnar stood, stepped in front of her, and lay down again, creating a barrier she could not pass. Dr. Hartley noted that this was not protective aggression. It was spatial management, the same technique herding breeds use to control livestock movement. Gunnar was herding Mia away from the threat without ever touching her. This is a dog operating on pure instinct and spatial intelligence, Dr. Hartley wrote in her behavioral assessment. He identified a lethal threat, maintained a protective perimeter for 40 minutes without human direction, and employed a controlled vocalization pattern to summon assistance. This is extraordinary. Has your dog ever refused to let your child go somewhere, and you later found out why? Tell us in the comments. These stories deserve to be heard. That evening, after Rick had cleared the yard, after Daniel had sealed the gap behind the AC unit, after Mia was bathed and fed and sleeping in her crib, Rachel found Gunnar lying by the sliding glass door. His chin was on his paws. His eyes were on the glass. She sat down beside him on the cold tile and put her hand on his back. She could feel the muscles still holding tension beneath the fur. He had been rigid for 7 hours. She leaned her head against his shoulder. He exhaled, a long, slow breath that deflated his chest entirely. His eyes stayed on the glass. The next story involves a dog that wouldn't stop licking a baby's ear, and the infection it found before anyone else.